Hello, spellcasters of all shapes and sizes. My name is Chance. Welcome to my spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 17th episode of our second level spells series. Today we're going to be taking a look at Crown of Madness, which in my opinion is one of the coolest spells out there, but a lot of people aren't super impressed by it. I'll get into why I like it and why I think a lot of people aren't super happy about it a little bit later on here, but firstly, it is usable by the Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard, which is the vast majority of the main casters in the game, and naturally through extension, anyone else with access to their spell lists, and it is found in the good old Player's Handbook, so we should all have access to it. With that hyped up intro out of the way, let's take a look at its mechanics. So your cast time is the standard one action. The range is an absolutely insane 120 feet, and the duration is a minute, and it is concentration, which is where a lot of criticism comes from. The effect at a glance is as followed. Choose one humanoid you can see within range. They make a wisdom save. On a failed save, becoming charmed for the duration. A twisted crown of jagged iron appears on its head, and a madness glows in its eyes. Really cool. The target must use its actions before moving on each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. The target can act normally on its turn if you choose no creature or if none are within range. You must use your action to maintain control over the target or the spell ends. Also, the target can make a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. On a success, the spell ends. The components are somatic and verbal, meaning you have to gesture with one hand and speak forth an incantation, and the school is Enchantment. Whew, quite a wordy one, I tell ya. The concentration is probably the biggest downside to this outright, and the fact that you constantly have to burn actions to keep it up and running. In any case, let's take a look at its full description to kind of flesh it out a little bit better. One humanoid of your choice that you can see within range must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by you for the duration. While the target is charmed in this way, a twisted crown of jagged iron appears on its head and a madness glows in its eyes. The charmed target must use its actions before moving on each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. The target can act normally on its turn if you choose no creature or if none are within its reach. On your subsequent turns, you must continue to use your action to maintain control over the target or the spell ends. Also, the target can make wisdom saving throws at the end of each of its turns. On a success, the spell ends. Wow. So once again, the biggest downsides are the concentration and the fact that you have to constantly burn actions to keep it up and running. The charmed effect reads as followed, by the way. A charmed creature can't attack the charmer or target the charmer with harmful abilities or magical effects. The charmer has advantage on any ability check to interact socially with the creature, which is important. The charmed condition is not to be overlooked here, and I can certainly see where people have a lot of problems with this. It also specifies it has to be a melee attack, which means, sadly, no spells or otherwise ranged attacks. So bear that in mind as well if you're using it. So, yeah. In any case, let's move on to some alternative uses. So in my opinion, the best way to use this particular spell is actually out of combat. Fact of the matter is, between the actions and the concentration and the limited amount of options, there are just simply better choices to pick in combat, like literally any cantrip, for example. That being said, though, if you were to use this on a insanely powerful enemy fighter who you know for sure can cause you a lot of grief, at the very least it will cause the enemy team a lot of headache, and it will buy you some time to actually set everything up for a more effective plan. You could also very effectively use this on creatures that have a nasty habit of running away from you or slipping away. 1 minute is a ton of time in combat, especially if you have a larger party, so that could be a great way of fixing that problem. You could also use it on a figure of authority, such as a king or noble or lord, something like that, and you could cause them to essentially go berserk. Their guards would be in a strange position where they couldn't attack said figure of authority for fear of losing their own lives after the fact, but they also couldn't ignore the fact that he was going on a rampage. So it'd be very interesting and would do a great job of creating a huge distraction. I think leveraging the range in this spell makes a lot of sense as well, and just puts you in a good position to execute a lot of otherwise fairly complicated plans. That being said, if you have any alternative uses, cool ideas, or thoughts about Crown of Madness, please put it down in the comments section beneath. I really appreciate reading them, and I know everyone else tuning in does as well. That being said, I just want to take a quick moment to thank our patrons, Marcos G. Guzman Jr., Reyna, Tanner Frazier, Kennedy Garcia, Bruce T, Tato Seal, and Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it so much. Also, feel free to check out our live streams every day from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If for whatever reason I'm not able to do the live streams, I put it in the community section on my YouTube page, so please check out there if you're not too sure whether or not we're doing one. And if you like that cool hand-drawn Dragonborn up on the screen and you'd like your own hand-drawn DD picture, please check out our Patreon videos to figure out exactly how to do that. That being said, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy casting.